Hey, Tami Charles, good morning.
Hi, how
How are
are you?
you?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Well, I'm struggling a little bit. Trying to wake up 10 o'clock in these COVID times for me means I'm still in my pajamas. But
Oh,
but
I'm
Tami
not
Charles said 10 a.m. So I got me some caffeinated tea and I'm here at 10 a.m.
I got soul food, I guess you would call this, coffee. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I've been up since 4:30
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 4:30. Why have you been up since 4:30?
because my writerly brain for the past 10 years or so has woken me up
Wow.
most days at that time because I was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I was teaching third, fourth, and fifth grade for 13, 14 years. And within that time is when I kind of rediscovered I'd always wanted to be an author.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you and I probably have similar experiences growing up. Didn't really see a lot of kids of color
Right.
on book covers, in stories. So it was just like this far away dream that I didn't think I could attain. But when I started teaching is when I started seeing the types of diverse books that I would have loved as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And my students and I would like write these stories together and we do all these fun things based upon what we were reading. Okay. And they were the ones who were like, Miss Charles, you need to try and become an author. Because I told them, I was like, oh, I wanted to be an author when I was a kid, but I didn't think it was possible. So to do that, I knew I had to wake up, mm-hmm. crack of dawn, mm-hmm. and get something on the page before the school day started. So it's just been a habit for me to have some type of a morning routine.
Wow. And now how long has it been since you've been in the classroom?
Well, I taught for 14 years.
Right.
And then I think I left teaching in 2016.
Okay.
Or 2017, I believe. By September 2017, I had like retired, mm-hmm. because it became such a juggle and struggle to have both going. And, you know, as a wife and as a mom, at some point it was just like,
something's got to give.
Yeah, something's got to give. I gotta dive in head first and take this thing as far as I can get it. And if it didn't work out, then I could always go back to teaching. You know, right. I have the credentials, but I'm so glad that I gave it a try.
Because we are all so glad you gave it a try because you got tons of books out now. And okay, so full disclosure, the reason why I invited you to share some tea with me. Oh, and I got to shout out my tea meister who makes my tea. And I told her I needed something caffeinated this morning. So this is coconut Earl Grey. I'm drinking. Oh, yes, girl. It's good. It's real good.
Oh, nice.
Yes. But so here's my shirt. We're talking all things tea. And this is my tea this morning. Your vision is your responsibility. Do your work. By Black Mermaids. Julia, shout out to Julia Mallory. She designs these shirts. And I wore this shirt because I am taking responsibility for the type of person that I want to continue to develop and become. And so I'm doing these series of interviews. I'm kind of setting up my own mentorship series. So, and I'm reaching out to people who I admire for various reasons. And like I said, I wanted to let you know why I invited you was because I saw when you first kind of entered the writing game and we kind of connected on social media, that you were such a charismatic person. And I knew it just based on our interactions. But when I saw you post a video where you were cooking, I think it was, is it called soup jamu?
Soup jamu, yep, freedom soup.
Freedom Soup. Freedom Soup. But I saw you demonstrating it and cooking and conversing, and you were just so engaging and comfortable in your own skin on this, big platform. I was like, okay, so this is a person I could learn a lot from, right? She has the charisma that I would love to have. And I think that a lot of people would love to be able to operate, in the world and throughout life, being able to be that engaging and having those connections with other people, especially people you just meet. So that's why you're here, Tami. I want to find out the secrets to how to be more charismatic. Talk to me. Is this were you just born this way? Is it nature, nurture? Did you have life experiences that brought you to this point? Talk to me.
Talk to you.
Talk to me. Tell me. Teach me.
Right now, because I got like a little tear forming in my eye right now. Like, dang, she said all that nice stuff about me.
It's true. It's true.
Charisma? What's the question? You threw me for a loop.
How did you become that person? Because surely this isn't the first time, that somebody has told you, girl, you just have it.
I just am trying to be myself.
Okay.
Try to be my best self. I mean, I am very flattered that you would say that I have charisma. Ironically, sometimes I would actually label myself as shy. When I tell people that, they have this reaction like, what you talking about, Willis? One of those reactions, but I don't know, maybe I feed off other people's energies. Mm-hmm. If we're talking about that moment when you saw me on television making the soup, I'm not sure which time that was, because I did it with Michael Strahan.
Right. I saw you did it on GMA.
That one or
the other one? Well, they were both great, but I think it was the other one, the local news station.
Philly. Okay. So that was a Philly news station where I rung in the new year by making Freedom Soup. This was close to the publishing date. When you are given an opportunity, closed mouths don't get fed. My grandmother taught me that growing up. So, you just got to seize the moment. I can right here, right now, I can tell you, there are times I can be shy, but baby, I had a story to tell. I had a book to promote. Mm-hmm. I had an entire culture that I wanted people to know about. So in those moments, no, I don't have time to be shy because people are watching, but most importantly, my son is watching. Mm-hmm. He's looking at his mom to see how to seize those moments. So I have no other choice but to savor in it. Mm-hmm. And does that come off charismatic? I mean, you said it, not me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'll take the compliment.
Right.
But I don't know. Growing up, my mom put me in a lot of activities.
Okay.
I lived in Newark. I don't know if you've heard of that city, but sometimes Newark gets a bad rap. Mm-hmm. And yet some of our finest scholars and entertainers and, you name it, have come out of Newark. But to keep me focused and to keep me out of trouble growing up, I did all kind of activities, a lot of performing arts, creative arts. So maybe, just pulling from those multiple worlds have kind of fed into who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. And maybe that just shows off as charismatic.
Okay. So I receive all of that. And I'm trying to figure out how I and other people can take some of what you just said and apply it to our journeys, because one of the things I know you talked about, in a moment when you have something to accomplish, you don't have time to be shy or to doubt yourself. You just have to go for it. But a lot of people in those big moments, they have the opposite reaction, right?
Oh, yes.
They shrink. They're like, I can't do this. It's too big. So what would you say if you are advising those people, your son, anybody who might be prone to reacting differently in those big moments? Like how would you encourage them to think about it differently, to turn it up, turn it on, so to speak?
Turn it up and turn it on. Old school trick, maybe just pretend like no one is there, or like what is that saying? Dance like no one's watching. Like you've got this message, you have this purpose, you have to get it out. I think that one of the many things that we have been fortunate with during this pandemic is the fact that we can connect with people virtually. So for those who may be inherently shy,
right,
and the thought of being on a platform in front of hundreds and thousands of people, that can be very scary. But like behind a camera in the comfort of your own home, those people, like, this is your time to turn it up, because
absolutely,
that you don't even know what I got on outside of, this box. Like, you can truly be yourself in this space. And the more you practice, the more you do it, you'll get better, right? At public speaking or whatever it is that, this goal that you've set for yourself. But I think in this virtual space, this is the time to practice, especially if you're shy.
I 100% agree. This is a great segue to doing those things in person, on stage. And another thing you talked about, which I think might be key, is to focus on your passion.
Yep.
The thing that you're most passionate about, that you're most knowledgeable about, and figure out how to engage those things as you do this practice, as you try to extend yourself and expand your skills, be they public speaking or even just like interacting with other folks.
I like what you said earlier. I don't know if this was a part of the recording, but you mentioned that you have a YouTube channel, right? So I have one too. Now here's the thing. Everyone has different goals. Some people may have a goal of having this like super large platform with thousands and millions of followers. If that's your goal, great, right? You got to start somewhere, i.e. a YouTube channel. So you have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. But
I'm about to have a YouTube channel.
I'm
about to build it up. Yeah.
There you go. Right. So I have one. And if I'm being blunt, I don't care how many followers I have on YouTube or any social platform. It's about getting the message out. It's about talking about the work, right? So let's just say if I even have 25 followers, hey, if I could reach one person, one child, the people who we write for, if I could reach one kid through that medium, then my work is done. No, I don't have like this crazy viral YouTube channel.
Right.
But the content that I have there, in my opinion, represents the range of the type of writer I want to be. So when someone visits that channel and they see my work, I've literally gotten speaking engagements based upon a video that someone saw on my channel.
Right.
With my 7 little followers.
Right.
But I still booked the speaking gig. You know what I mean? So you step into something with intention. I've got the YouTube, I've got, these other methods of getting the word out about my work. And you just have to know what you want out of that experience.
Right.
Once you do, the chips will fall where they're supposed to, viral or not.
Yeah. Okay, so intentionality.
Yeah, you gotta
That's
be intentional. Word. I knew it. Like when I was stepping into this career and leaving the teaching career, leaving the classroom, that was very hard for me. My husband was trying to get me to do it like my last 8 years of teaching every year. Come on. I couldn't do it. But once in my head, I kind of made that connection between, oh, I could be an author, but I could also still be connected to schools and be connected to classrooms on a broader level than the 4 walls where I was teaching my, 25, 30 students. Right. Now I get to do this on a grander scale through my books. So it became a marriage of sorts.
Right.
And once that clicked for me, I was like, okay, I can make this work, but I need the school aspect because that's where my heart is,
Absolutely. What about as you go through life engaging with people on the day-to-day, what's your intentional focus when you interact with, say, people you just meet, and building your network and building those relationships? How are you intentional about making connections, that way?
Oh, well, I think
because you know everybody, Tami, like, from like the famous people to the classroom students. I mean, all the people in the industry, a lot of people, and it seems like you have a warm relationship with a lot of people. So that means that you're doing something right as it relates to connecting with
I feel like a case study.
Well, look, I told you that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn, Tami.
I mean, you are definitely learning. But can I say that with your intention, I love what you're doing, by the way. I'm going to say, I think I take the same approach. So whether I'm going to meet students to talk to students about literature and the power of reading and diverse books, all the way up to, oh, I'm about to interview Debbie Allen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ready, right? I put in the same work and focus and intention that I do, whether it's a student who I've never met or someone as iconic as Debbie Allen. Right. Got to do the homework. And you also have to know the difference between what your purpose in that interaction will be. Am I here to teach, or am I here to listen? With the kids, I was there to teach. The listening happened organically. With Debbie Allen, I was here to learn. That's a living legend. I got notes,
right?
Days. She was dropping gems.
Yeah, I know she was.
So you really have to step into a situation like that, knowing what your goals are. You did that, right? You hit me up. You're like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to talk about. Here are our talking points. Let's get it. That's how you make connections with people. You have to know your role, your place, and know what it is that you want out of this relationship that you're trying to cultivate. So case in point, I went to a school recently in Baltimore. Oh my gosh, the kids they were great. It was my first in-person visit in like 2.5 years. So I stepped into that knowing what I wanted out of it. I knew the message that I wanted these kids to have. And it was very much tied to the fact that, I went to these inner city schools. I visited these schools. I'm from the inner city. Like, I literally went to these types of schools. What message do I want them to get out of that? Oh, I want them to get out of my talk is that it doesn't matter where you come from. You are resilient. You have the power to do anything. I'd even dare to say you have the power to do anything because of where you came from.
That's right.
Right? Diamonds are made under pressure. Like, you have this power. So I got that I think I got that message out. There was one school in particular where it was an emotionally disturbed class, 6 kids. Okay. There were actually more adults in the room than there were students. Now, six students, if I'm being honest, 2 were sleeping during my presentation, which I can laugh about that now. They were knocked out. 2 were sleeping, 2 were talking. And then there were 2 who sat and actually listened. But out of the 2 who were listening, one kid, when I tell you this kid, he was over, really, really engaged. And I could tell he read the book. He read the book like 3 times because his questions, like he came prepared. And when it was over, he said to me, he came up to me, he goes, Miss Charles, I really liked your book. And he goes, I identify as bisexual. I'm just starting to get comfortable with saying that. So thank you for writing this book. Baby, that's all I needed.
Right.
6 kids. Okay, y'all don't want to listen. I got through to that one kid.
One person.
That one person. Why? Is it because I set the intention that no matter as long as I can walk away from this experience, having reached one child, and that's enough for me? Yeah, I set that intention. I don't know if it happened by some grace of God or by design, but it happened. And that was literally all I needed from that entire experience. I have more like stories like that. And like I went to 6 schools, but that was my smallest audience.
Right.
But let me tell you, that was my favorite experience. So we both, we both came prepared. We both knew what we wanted out of that experience, and mission accomplished for both of us. I'll never forget that.
Right. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we covered the things that I wanted to talk about as it relates to connection and engaging other people. I guess you can just you can tie it up with a bow and drop that final line to encourage that person who's watching, who like me has been on a journey and on a mission to just have more authentic relationships. That's another word that I hear you didn't use the word authentic, but that's what you talked about, just being authentically you as you engage with other people. Just tie it up with a bow to say, baby, this is what you got to do if you want to get to where you want to be and you want to connect with other people in a way that will allow you to build a team, to build supporters that will help you along the way. Baby, this is what you got to do.
Got it. So I'm going to bring up that quote again that my grandma said. It's actually the quote that starts off my very first book, like Vanessa. And that is, closed mouths don't get fed. It can be very scary to ask for help, to ask for support. And you're going to get some people who might say no, might ignore you. But you might be surprised at the magic that can happen when you put it out there of what it is that you are looking for, big or small, right? So like when you hit me up about this, like I was tickled pink. Of course I would do this. Like, why would I not? Talk it up with a fellow author. It was very flattering, very flattering. I was like, what? But in addition to piggybacking off of that statement, closed mouths do not get fed. Come up with a plan. It's not easy to just reach out to someone, especially if they're a stranger, right?
Yeah.
So back to the power of intention. I believe in writing down my goals. Every year I do, a lot of people do vision boards, right? I do that, but I also do something called a PSSM chart. Now, that's where I break down all my goals for the year, but I categorize it according to physical, spiritual, social, and mental. And underneath the social, I write about what relationships do I want to further develop? And not for the purpose of like, ooh, what can I get out of someone else? Because you have to be in service to others as well.
Absolutely.
And service looks, there's a wide range. I'd like to think that this is service, but it's service for both of us.
That's
actually.
right.
So you really just have to write your goals down. That's the first step. You got to put it out there, and it can be scary. And then you just got to take the risk. Dive all the way in. Build yourself a little village of folks who are willing to help you, or at least willing to connect you with someone who may be able to help you, even if they don't know.
That's right.
You have to take risks. What risks are you taking this year? Dive in.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay. Intentionality, authenticity, courage.
Yeah.
It's the key to charisma, y'all. That's what Tami Charles said.
Oh boy.
Thank you, Tami.
Thank you. What is that? Jason Reynolds says, I don't know nothing from nothing. I don't know nothing about that.
It's all right. What you do, you shared, and we and I am all the better for it. So thank you. Appreciate you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.